What's going on, ladies and gents? It's your boy Neosynthesis, just coming at you with a little, I think, interesting kind of discussion about the XYZ festival format and some cards I think that you should consider running in your deck, just as like a tech choice specifically for this format. So, without any further ado, here's 9 cards that I think are at least interesting to run. So, what I basically did was I went back to the 2017 WCQs, which is when the Zodiac deck was like a tier 0 deck in the TCG, and I basically sifted through what the top deck lists were running in terms of like tech cards for like the anti-Zoo mirror, because Zoo is basically an XYZ only deck, and we're going to be playing in an XYZ only format. So number one card they were running is this Flying Sea card, which I think definitely breaks the format. When your opponent normal special summons a monster, except during damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field in defense position. The controller of this card cannot XYZ summon. So if they're playing like an XYZ deck, they're just done for their turn, which is great. Most of the time, there's not going to be a good way to get rid of this for them. Yeah, I think this card might need to be banned in this format. I'm not 100% sure. I doubt Konami will go through, because there's just too many cards that I think are blowout cards in this format. Another card is Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. If you think that I personally think it's going to be about a Zoo tier 0 format, perhaps with a lot of Eldritch thrown in. So maybe this card's not necessarily the greatest. Hey, but if you're the Eldritch player, cherrying their Trident or their Zeus might be a good idea. So, and you don't really need the extra deck spot. But if you guys don't know what Cherries does, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, we can discard this card, reveal one card in your extra deck, then look at your opponent's extra deck, and banish all cards in their extra deck with that same name. So, you can get rid of their Zeus. If you reveal Zeus, get rid of their Trident, whatever. It's good in mirror matches. Like I said, the only matchup it wouldn't be good against is Eldritch, and I'm not sure how common that'll be. I imagine it'll be very common, because it's pretty common right now, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to move on from that card. I think you guys can see why that card might be good in this format. Like, there might be enough diversity to where this card might not be the best, but these aren't really in any necessary order. But, this card's really, really, really good. And you guys hopefully can get a good grasp for how I think the cards are as we go on. Mind Control. Mind Control just basically says target one monster your opponent controls till the end phase. Take control of that target, but it cannot declare an attack or be attributed. But we can still use it for XYZ material. So if the Zoo mirror match is as prevalent as I think it will be, taking an opponent's Zoo monster and being able to just overlay our own Zoo monster, denying them their Zoo XYZ that wouldn't normally go into the graveyard and have materials, and maybe we're getting attacked from that as well, because there might be Zoo monsters underneath it. Who even knows? It's really good. It's really good. And mind controlling an XYZ is excellent, and especially if you're playing cards like Drill Driver, or you can maybe even, if you have another XYZ, you can maybe even overlay Zeus on top of the monster you're stealing. Using the XYZ effect is also going to often be something you can do. So yeah, I think Mind Control is really good in a format that's just pure XYZ only. The next card is kind of a, so this is, I don't know how much you guys like to metagame stuff, but I love metagames. So Shuffle Reborn is a card that we run because, well, your deck has to already like Monster Reborn. That is one thing that you need to be fulfilled. So if you're not already running Monster Reborn in your main deck, Shuffle Reborn might not be a good option. Shuffle Reborn just says if we control no monsters, we can target one monster in our graveyard, special summon it, but has its effects negated. Also banish it during the end phase. Not a big deal. In Zodiac, for example, we're going to be making XYZs with whatever card we're summoning. It's not going to matter that its effects are negated, and it's not going to matter that it's banished during the end phase. And then the second effect of this card is actually the reason that I for one am interested in this. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one card you control, shuffle it into the deck, then draw one card. Also, during the end phase of this turn, banish one card from your hand. Alright. So it's not necessarily the greatest, but this card will actually get rid of a Flying Sea for you, for example. And that might be all you need to end the game. So this is like a countermeasure card to what I think is the most broken card right now in this format. I mean, Maxi is still pretty broken, and it exists at 3. But Shuffle Reborn is definitely a card that we want to that I at least am considering. This might be like the last card on the list if I were going to rank them in a order from best to worst. All right, and then we're going to move on to My Body's a Shield. So personally, I think I've made it pretty clear that I think the meta is going to be Zodiac, more Zodiac, and a lot of Eldritch. Now, I could be underestimating Bird Up, but I just don't know if that deck really has enough punch without the Bird of Sovereignty. I can't think of any other XYZ-based strategy that would really be able to contest Zoo, and this card is fantastic in Zodiac Mirrors. So basically it just says, when your opponent activates a spell/trap or monster effect that would destroy a monster or monsters on the field, pay 1,500 life points, negate the activation if you do destroy it. So this card is not only amazing versus Zodiac Trident, 1,500 life points is great to negate and destroy a card, and then it's also going to be able to protect your monster versus the discard to pop effect with of Eldritch, and I believe it should also stop Conquistador. So this card's really versatile in that way. So I think that in a format where there's no Zoo Tri Brigade or Bird Up or Drytron, that this card certainly is interesting to me. It's a really old card, but it actually is very, very potent in the right situation. And then the next card on the list is actually Forbidden Chalice. I think Chalice it gets considerably better in a format where there's no where we are significantly basically limiting what is allowed. So there's a significantly less amount of Omni negates and a significantly less amount of just stuff that we really need spell speed, like quote unquote 4, which is like Forbidden Droplets for. And oftentimes Chalice using one card to negate the effect is enough. We can use Imperm, we can use a lot of cards like that, but I personally think that Chalice is a card that gets a significant amount better in the XYZ only format. It's not good against Eldritch, but I'm still not certain how much that deck's going to appear. I imagine it'll appear a lot though. So perhaps this is like the second to worst card on this list. And then the next card, and this is another card that's not particularly good against Eldritch, but hey, we could make a whole a whole tips video about cards that are good against Eldritch, and that's just gonna defeat the purpose of this video if we talk too much about Eldritch. But this XYZ universe, if you guys didn't play during from 2013, I want to say 2013 to 2016, this card saw fringe play in side decks and stuff. So in 2014 National Championship, I believe it saw that was its height of play. But the card basically just says target 2 face-up XYZ monsters on the field, so those can both be on our opponent's side of the field. Send both monsters to the graveyard, then special summon an XYZ monster from our extra deck, except a number monster, whose rank is equal to or one less than the combined ranks of those 2 XYZ monsters. And if you do, attach this card as material to it. Also for the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, your opponent takes no damage. So that's not a big deal because you're going to be doing this on your opponent's turn. But essentially, this allowing you to just get rid of both of those XYZ, get rid of multiple XYZ monsters on your opponent's side of the board, and special summon something, like a level 8 or a level 7 XYZ monster from your extra deck. Could be definitely very good. I'm not 100% sure what you would summon. I think you could still summon Felgrand and stuff like that. Here, let's just pull it up. I just remember this card being somewhat good. Oh, no. I just remember this card being somewhat good when I just remember this card being pretty good in an XYZ heavy format that was the 2014, I think the 2014 World Championship qualifier in North America. And this card definitely saw play then, and I think that it might be worth considering playing again. I mean, Felgrand is definitely a pretty good thing you can summon off of this guy. I'm trying to think, because you can't summon number 38, right? Because it's a number monster. You know, the targets may not be necessarily worth playing this card, now that I'm really doing some further examination, but if you think that it's like good enough to just like clear their board basically and special summon a an XYZ monster, I mean, it might be good enough. Like, I don't know, perhaps you're playing Orcust and maybe this Dingirsu gets you somewhere. I've never played Orcust and I barely kind of know what the combo line is, but you know, perhaps there's a situation where this card is just enough of a blowout, or on the end phase you do something crazy like you summon a Big Eye or a Draco Sack or something like that. Like, there are situations where that card is definitely a blowout. I think Absolute Dragon is a no, it's not. It's a little bit worse than I thought it was. Absolute Dragon's not necessarily that good. Just drink. You can't summon this one because it's a number. But anyway, XYZ Universe. It is theoretically good, just as a way to get rid of monsters your opponent controls, and you know, maybe if you, I think that there are cards like maybe even waiting until the end phase and summoning Galaxy Tomahawk to combo off on your turn. Well, see, Galaxy Tomahawk is not good in this format, so it's kind of hard. I think that the XYZ Universe card might not be particularly good because of the limitations on the cards you can summon, but if you're a deck that wants any of these cards, you know, like I mean, a Felgrand is pretty much your best option for 2 level 4s. I've talked about XYZ Universe kind of ad nauseum at this point, but I think that this card has potential in this format. I'm interested to see if the application is really there or not, though. It's going to require a lot more testing. And unfortunately, this is not really going to last that long. All right, and then this is like another secret tech. So I watched actually a lot of WCQ videos, and in one European list, I believe it was the second place. Forgive me for not remembering the gentleman's name, but he was playing Pure Zodiac, and he had this card, I believe, in his side deck. Second place, WCQ Europe. I can't remember his name, but I'm gonna try to pull it up. Anyway, he basically just. I mean, when I saw this card, I didn't know what it was at all, obviously. And I was kind of just, you know, definitely skeptical, because, like, you know, I've never seen Forbidden Apocrypha before, but actually, this card's really, really good. And it's particularly good in a format that, like, only has XYZ. So the card just says, declare 1 monster type, Fusion, Synchro, XYZ. If 2 or more monsters the declared type are on the field, make each player send all monsters of that type from their field to the graveyard. So setting this card on turn 1 versus an XYZ, like, even if you're playing Eldritch, this is insanely good. Just setting this up against your opponent. All right, so the gentleman's name was Michael Forner. He was an Italian man who played a great event in the WCQ 2017 in the Pure Zoo format. So it's like one of the most skilled formats ever. So shout out to him. And this is like a great tech card that I'm pretty much just taking from the man. And yeah, so it could be a complete blowout against an opponent that wants to set up multiple XYZ cards. And yeah, like, your opponent's not going to be playing around this card. It is, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I guess it's kind of the same as, like, a Torrential Tribute, but it's, like, an extra one, so, but I still think this card's really, like, good. It also doesn't destroy, it sends, so that isn't, like, an additional layer of reason you'd want to play this card over something like Torrential Tribute. And then, you know, maybe your opponent summons out their Trident, and now they just don't have one anymore. Or they summon out, you know, I don't know what XYZs are limited in this game necessarily, but maybe they summon out their 1 Beatrice or something like that. I don't know if that card's limited in this game. I don't think it actually is. That's a card you can summon off of XYZ Universe, by the way. Beatrice, if they have 2 level 3s. So yeah, Forbidden Apocrypha. I think this card's actually a spicy tech in this format for sure. And then last but not least, Dimension Barrier. This card's pretty good. Declare 1 monster type Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, or Pendulum for the rest of the turn. Neither player can special summon monsters of the declared types. Also negated. Also, all the effects of all monsters with that type while they are on the field are negated. So, yeah, it's like a Vanity's Emptiness. You can just, it's like kind of like it's not a Vanity's Emptiness. It's more of a like a Cold Wave for XYZ summoning. I mean, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of what card like prevents your opponent for special summoning for the rest of the turn. It's like kind of like an Artifact Scythe effect. I think that's probably the best comparison. So that's pretty good. So like what you have your big board of XYZ monsters already out on the field, and as long as they're not, you know, Zodiac monsters, which are unfortunately going to go to 0/0, you're going to have some stats, and your opponent's not going to be able to use their extra deck. So as long as they're not playing Zodiac, you know, this card can be a serious blowout. Anyway, I think that's really all I have to say. I don't want to make this video drag on for too long. I did kind of go way into depth on some cards, but I think that's good. I know that all these cards are pretty unfamiliar because they're kind of tech cards. They're a bit fringe. So some stuff I'm sure you guys know, like Dimension Barrier, Chalice, like Cherries maybe, Mind Control maybe. But a lot of this stuff I think is like secret OP in the format, and I'm interested to see what kind of a ban list Konami puts together, or if they do put a ban list together at all. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Been your boy Neosynthesis. Peace.